Welcome to Create Your Midlife, the podcast where self-agency becomes the new feminine power. I'm Dr. Oksana Skidan, and every week we explore what it means to create your life by leading yourself with ease, clarity, and presence, one real conversation at a time. It's almost here, the holidays, and somehow this year, at least for me, feels different. Maybe it's the timing, maybe it's the world, maybe it's just midlife. But for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm still catching up. There's still gifts waiting to be wrapped, meals to plan, people to call, to invite, and yet something in me just wants to pause. It's that strange in between. The lists are still long, but your energy is already whispering enough. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because 2 days before Christmas, I don't want to give you another list or another reminder of what you should be doing. I want to, still remind you that it's okay to stop. You know how in those baking competition shows, they call out, "Time's up, step away from the cake." And I keep thinking that's exactly what many of us need to hear right about now. Because the truth is, the house most likely smells like pine and cinnamon. The lights are glowing, maybe not on all the trees that you've planted, but inside, the to-do list is still running. We've been preparing for this all months. For some people, maybe half a year. And if we don't stop soon, we'll miss it while it's happening. The holidays have this way of turning into a performance. Every detail, every moment needs to be curated, every plate arranged just right, even though we promise that we will step away from perfection. But the older I get, the more I realize that the holidays aren't a performance. They must be an experience. And perfection doesn't make memories. When we laugh, that's what it does. Warmth does, presence does. The soft, unplanned human moments, the ones you can't photograph or wrap, those are the ones that actually stay. So maybe before anything else, it's time to say it to ourselves. Time's up. Step away. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about how the holidays feel in midlife. They're not as shiny as they used to be, but I think they're a lot deeper. There is a certain awareness that sneaks in, the knowing that time moves fast and that these moments we're living right now, they're not going to be repeating. And maybe that's why this year I keep comparing the holidays, funny enough, to a wedding. All that planning, all that anticipation, the endless details, and then the next morning, it's over. You wait for it, you dream about it, you organize every little thing, and then it's gone, just like that. And you are left wondering, did I actually experience it, or did I just manage it? That's how joy slips by. Not because it's rare, but because we treat it like an event instead of a feeling. We think joy is something we earn after we finish everything. But joy doesn't wait for your checklist. It lives in the middle of it, in the laughter, in the chaos, in the moment when nothing goes as planned, and yet somehow it's still beautiful. And as midlife women, we carry so much invisible pressure this time of year to make it magical for everyone else, to hold the center, hold the peace, hold the plan, the meals, the decor, the gifts, the mood, all of it somehow becomes our silent responsibility. But the truth, the memories that lost aren't the ones from the perfect table setting. They're from the moments that went off script, the messy kitchen, the slightly maybe a bit more than slightly, burnt cookies that everyone still ate and laughed, the car ride, singing off key to Christmas songs and fighting for which next song should we be listening. That's where life actually happens, not in control, but in connection, not in perfection, but in presence. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, my husband, my son, and I drove to visit my husband's parents in Iowa for Christmas. And on the phone, his mom mentioned that they had decided to go with an artificial tree that year. And at that time, we just weren't ready for it. Even though now, I'll admit, we have a few of those in our own house. Anyway, as we were getting closer to their home after a long drive, we got this brilliant idea. Well, we thought that was brilliant. Let's stop by a local grocery store and surprise them with a real tree. It sounded magical, especially after 19 hours in a car. Well, except it was already just a few days before Christmas, and the choices were, well, not great, and actually, they were quite terrible. But we were determined, so we picked a small one, strapped it to the car, and felt so proud of ourselves. We brought it into the house, turned on the lights, and under the warm glow of the kitchen, our pride quickly turned into laughter, because that tree was something else. Somehow, it had been sprayed with this odd greenish blue color. It didn't even look real. And on top of that, well, it had clearly been sitting outside a bit too long because the smell, how to say it? Well, let's just say it reminded me of an unclean cat box. Not exactly the scent of Christmas morning in the beautiful kitchen of my mother-in-law. So, needless to say, it didn't make it to the center of the celebration. But it did find its place outside, where it stood proudly for the rest of the holiday, or at least for the rest of our visit there. And years later, we still laugh about it. That little disaster became one of our favorite Christmas memories of that year. It's the perfect example of how the opposite of perfect can become the most perfect thing of all. Because that's the truth of it. The moments that stay with us are rarely the ones we planned. They're the ones that caught us off guard, made us laugh, and reminded us that joy doesn't care about presentation. Joy just wants to be felt. You know, I think midlife holidays carry a completely different energy. They're not about creating magic anymore. They're about feeling it. For so many of us, the shape of the season has changed. The kids are older. Some are home from college. Some are in that sweet in between, not quite kids, not quite gone for college. The house feels both full and fleeting. You can sense it that this moment, this version of life, won't come around forever. And that's what makes presence so sacred right now. Because this isn't just another December. This is one of the few where they're still here, still under the same roof, still coming into the kitchen asking what's for dinner, or lying on the couch half watching Christmas movies with you. It's the in-between years, and they are golden. And they are here not to turn into magic, but to truly, really feel it. The truth is, the gift they'll remember isn't the perfect wrapping, or the dinner table, or even the matching pajamas. Even though they look great on photos and for the first time, I'm really thinking maybe it's still not too late to run out and get those matching ones. But what our kids and what our families and secretly us are wondering, wishing for, and dreaming for, things that we will be remembering years and years. And those are the sound of our laughter when something went wrong. The way you sat on the floor playing cards. The late night hot chocolate, maybe very unexpectedly and very much artificial. the dancing in the kitchen to the same songs you've played for decades. That's what presence looks like in midlife. Not slowing down, but showing up. Not controlling the moment, but being fully in it. And maybe that's the quiet wisdom of this season. Realizing that our legacy isn't in how well we managed it all, but in how deeply we lived it. Because someday, when they think of Christmas, they won't remember what you bought. They'll remember how it felt to be with you. So maybe this year, the most powerful thing you can do isn't to plan more. It's to actually step away, to sit down, to look around and really see it, the imperfect, beautiful life you've created. Because this right here is the season you've been building all along. There comes a point in every December, right about now, when you should realize it's time to stop adjusting, perfecting, planning. It's time to, again, step away, not because it's all done, but because it's time to leave it. Step away from the comparison, the striving, the constant rearranging of plans in your head. Step into the fun part, into the glow, into the light. Step into the togetherness that's been waiting for you all along. Because if everything isn't done, good. That's your cue that life is happening. The undone details, the crooked bows, the half-wrapped gifts are not wrapped at all. They're not signs of failure. They're signs that you are in it. Perfection freezes time. Presence lets it flow. And maybe that's the real wisdom of midlife. Knowing when to stop, managing the moment, and start feeling it, enjoying it, fully living in it. Because when you step away, you actually step into connection, joy, and the kind of calm that doesn't come from control, but from being fully here. This week, I want you to give yourself the same permission you give everyone else to enjoy, to talk, to laugh, to sit down, to rest, to feel. Because memories aren't built in perfection. They're built in motion, in conversation, in play, in those perfectly imperfect moments that make you feel alive. So wherever you are, whatever stage your family is in, make one memory on purpose this week. Do something silly, unplanned, wild, human. Bake the cookies that might fall apart. Wear the pajamas all day. Take the photo that no one's ready for, because that's the story you'll still be telling next year. Not how perfectly the napkins were folded, but how fully you were there. This season, step away from perfect. Step into presence. Because when you're fully present, you're not just enjoying the moment, you're creating memories that will stay with you forever. Merry Christmas, my midlife girlfriend. Thank you for listening to Create Your Midlife with me, Dr. Oksana Skidan. Take what resonated, leave what doesn't, and remember, the art of leading yourself is the new luxury of our century. You already have yourself, and that's where creation begins. I'll meet you here next week.